Hey there, all you beautiful Texans. Welcome back to the James Show. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. We are 12 days away from election 2024, decision 2024. Some of you have already voted, and I don't want to get you too excited and worked up here. I mean, that's not my job, but things are looking pretty good. We're seeing a lot of evidence, if you're looking for it, that things are kind of sliding, trending, drifting toward Team Red. Let's ask my first guest, Raven Harrison, who just stopped doing a live feed on Facebook I saw there to do the show. Thank you for joining us. Sorry to interrupt.
You're good, James. Always got time for you.
So what were you doing out there? Did something pop up, some new story that I haven't heard about that you just had to go live?
Well, I wanted to go live because I owed people a response on the Bret Baier interview on how I thought he did. And I also wanted to let people know that quietly yesterday, Kamala was out destroying freedom this is the first time that lethal force has been authorized against Americans on American soil. And that's a resolution that she and Biden quietly just put through. And I was like, hey, did anybody realize that she's just authorized while she's up there?
No. That can't be right, because I'm told Trump's the fascist. See? So there must be some mistake there. I don't know. We'll check on that, though. Tell me about this.
Third world.
Tell me about this resolution that they just passed. Or was it an executive order? What just passed?
It's a resolution. And so what it is it authorized at the discretion of the Secretary of Defense to use lethal force against Americans, who disagree with this regime. And that is the wording of it. People can read it. I have it posted on my Facebook page, but it is absolutely unconscionable that they are doing that. They are basically screaming at the rafters that all this nonsense, Trump's going to put people in cages, he's going to do this. None of that is true, because if he was going to do that, why didn't he do it in his first term? It is all lies. They're desperate and they're losing, and every time she opens her mouth, the polls are dropping. So that's where they are right now, to just straight up fear-mongering for people. But that, to me, is the most disparaging of when you realize where we are, James, of what government would authorize lethal force against its citizens?
Well, I mean, Iran did it. When they had a bunch of protests against Ahmadinejad, they just went out there and started squeezing off some rounds until they went home. Egypt did it during the Arab Spring. Libya did it. Yeah, there's a lot of countries that do it. I don't know if those are the ones we necessarily want to be emulating, Raven.
No, we just probably give them money.
Yeah, we definitely do that. Well, tell me your message, your reaction, your thoughts to the Bret Baier interview. What's your important takeaway from that?
I thought that she did poorly more than he did great. I think he did okay. I think he did better than I expected him to do. He tried to hold her on task, and she just imploded. But I think it was more of her doing a bad job than great. But I have to say, for Bret Baier, I had very low expectations, but I was pleasantly surprised.
You're not a Bret Baier fan?
No. I'm not a fan of anybody who calls it for a dementia patient with less than 1% of the vote in.
Oh, you're talking about the 2020 election night call? Okay. Fair enough. I don't know if that was necessarily his call, but I'm not going to.
It was redeemable. I feel like, again, what I wanted to see is what I saw this time, with a little bit more balanced journalism. He may be still a very anti-Trumper, and that's okay, but we shouldn't know his bias, just like teachers. We shouldn't know their sexual orientation. We shouldn't know this. There's certain things that should not be in this space. And for journalists, I don't want to know, their deepest, darkest secrets. I just want to hear the news. I want to hear the facts, and I want to make a decision for myself.
Well, I'm glad I get your little alerts sometimes when I'm going through Facebook. I can get some more Raven outside of the James Show. What's going on at the Roar Pack and the Roar Mission?
We are in high speed because we've got a few issues going on at the election. We've got a few reports of votes being switched from Trump to Harris. It's never the other way. It's never votes that get switched to Trump. But we're having those issues in Tennessee, Texas, Georgia, and North Carolina. In Michigan, we're having some issues with them saying, yeah, we know that there's more people registered than are eligible, but we'll fix it after the election. Probably. Wink, wink, maybe. So that's what we're doing now, is just encouraging people, getting out the message of going, guys, if you're voting on this machine, make sure the printout matches what you typed in. And if it does not, you have the right to have that ballot voided and have the right to have another one done. And do not believe, oh, hey, just leave your ballot. We'll cast it for you later. No, 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 no. Come back and go back and do it when they get their act together.
All right, that is solid advice. Raven Harrison, thank you for being on the James Show.
Thanks, James.
Find her at theroarpack.com and theroarmission.com. And if you follow her on Facebook, you can get some extra updates from her. And you don't have to comment on her appearance. That and Blonde Kamala. I don't know why y'all tell me this. And someone sent me a message on Beth Van Dyne. It's like she's a congresswoman. Can y'all stop it for a second? Guys are weird. 800-288-9227. I'm asking for more freelance James Show reporters. And just tell me your experience early voting. 800-288-9227. I compiled a bunch of the emails I got from other freelance James Show reporters, and I'll be reading through some of those coming up next on the James Show. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey there, how you doing? This is the James Show. You're listening to News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. I am your host, James Parker. Thank you so much for all the freelance reporters. Your work does not go unappreciated over here in the James Show staff. You are now, just even for a brief few minutes, you are part of the show. If you send in an email, if you send in a Facebook message, if you call in, definitely. I would like to hear your experience. And if your experience was like, well, nothing weird happened. Well, that's actually kind of important, because if someone calls in and they're like, then my vote kept getting switched and I was at such and such library at such and such town, and I have 12 other people that have called in and are like, nah, I voted there and it was cool. That's important information. That's important context to have. 800-288-9227. Now, for all you people who emailed in, James at WBAP.com. Man, I went through last night and took a while just to copy and paste and format into a nice little Google document here. I have a bunch of early voting reporters from email, but let me get some of these guys who are calling in. If you want to be on the list, 800-288-9227. Trey in Fort Worth, you're on the James Show. What did you see early voting, sir?
Yeah, I just had kind of a bizarre experience regarding cell phones that I don't remember in the past. I was voting in Southwest Fort Worth, trying to go during my lunch break, and I wasn't even really in the voting center yet, and I took a picture, and she came over to me and said, you need to leave and either go put your phone back and come back and vote, or go vote somewhere else. So it kind of turned me off. So I didn't have much time, so I went back to work, and then I went after work to a different location, and they were literally going outside the courthouse there's probably 100 people in line and making people turn off their phones. And I don't know if that's a new thing, but I had never experienced that before.
Yeah, so I have heard that you're not supposed to be using your cell phone at the polling locations, and I don't know if it's a uniform thing. Like, there are certain laws that are uniform, like there can be no electioneering within 100 feet of it, but the rest of that varies widely from precinct to precinct, from jurisdiction to jurisdiction, however they want to set it up, whether you're voting in a different county or not. So some of them have different hours, some of them have different rules, some of them have paper ballots, some of them don't, some of them use machines, some of them you still hand fill them in. So it's a wide swath of rules, but here's what I've done. I have gone into where it is illegal to... Actually, let me not say that I did this. Let's back this up. Just cut that part out, would you, Garrett? There was a guy named Pames Jarker. I heard a story about a guy named Pames Jarker who, when he went to vote, the polling location didn't allow phones. But when he got behind the curtain, he pulled out his damn phone and recorded it anyway, just in case there was shenanigans. Just in case there was something going on. Pames Jarker wanted to get it on the record, even though I think technically it was illegal for Pames to do that.
Yeah, I just don't get it. I feel like I would rather have more people recording polling locations so I can, something weird happens, what's going on. But
look, I understand it goes both ways, because if there's some dude in like a Black Panther outfit with an AK video in everyone's face as they go in the polling location, that could be seen as voter intimidation, because we all kind of agree that there should be anonymity in your vote. It's not going to be public record, and rightfully so. So there can't be any threats or intimidation or retribution based on how you vote. So I can kind of understand it, but I still want to record mine just in case there's shenanigans, because I have a radio show. That'd be big for me.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, that was my experience. I just wanted to share it. Didn't know if it was weird or not.
It was a great report. I guess I should have played the theme, but we'll break it out for Chuck. Chuck in Mesquite, you're the next James Show reporter. What did you see early voting?
No problems at all. Been voting in the same place since 1984 in Mesquite, Texas, and at City Lake Park. We left the house at 1 o'clock and we were home by 1:28. They did say when we were in line to silence your phones. That's the only thing that they said about the phones. But no problems at all. Never have had any problems when we vote. So I guess I'm not really complaining. I'm just passing along that the things in Mesquite are, copacetic.
Yeah, hey, that counts. No vote switching, no long lines, no weird waits, no goofy rules, no voter intimidation. That counts. That's a great report. I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you, Chuck and Mesquite. Let's go to Stephen in Miso Forney. You are now a James Show reporter. How was your early voting experience?
James, it was actually really good. Wait times weren't bad. I think I waited about 20 minutes. But the only thing that I saw, they do provide a stylus. You got to ask for it. So I was just trying to see if maybe using my finger, using the stylus was different. And when I hit with my finger, it did go to somewhere that I didn't intend to.
Ooh.
So maybe I have a fat finger. I'm not saying that the computers are.
See? But, okay.
I will say that was the only issue. But I did change my vote to where I needed to with the stylus.
What was your location again?
Forney at the courthouse.
Okay. There's a courthouse in Forney?
When I used the stylus, it went right back to where I needed it to. It printed out perfectly as I intended to.
I appreciate you helping us keep an eye on that. You did a great job reporting there, Steve and Miso Forney. Next, Joe in Arlington. You're on the James Show reporting what you saw in early voting. Go.
Yes, good afternoon. The only thing that really shocked me, or not shocked me, but it was very strange at a polling location was that, and I voted on the first day of that I was able of early voting, that it was extremely subdued. There were a lot of people in line, but it was extremely subdued. The people outside, they weren't talking to each other. They weren't making any kind of comments, and I thought it was really strange. It was almost like a dire circumstance or something. It was very odd. I've never seen that before. Usually people are talking and joking around, but this time it wasn't the case.
I remember it being kind of tense in 2008. I remember there was a lot of, they were acting like it was going to be tense because, Obama's on the ballot and America's so full of bloodthirsty, racist, murderous pig Klansmen that of course they're not going to behave and there's going to be some violence. And there wasn't. But, right. I remember that level of tension. I think that was the height of it back in 2008. And how unfounded was that? All right. Good reports. I appreciate you, Joe in Arlington, being part of the James Show. Good job. I'll take some more calls in just a second. I want to get to some of these early voting reporters that emailed in. First, we have John in Canton. He voted at First Mondays. No, I'm just kidding. He said, I wanted to give you an update on early voting in Canton. Early voting is being held at the Canton Library. My wife and I voted yesterday, Wednesday. We arrived 3:50, and by the time we finished voting, it was 4:50. Line was about 60 people deep, so they had about an hour wait. The attendees treated everyone with respect. They were awesome, helped elder persons find a comfortable chair to wait in until their other family members made it through the line. They also provided curbside voting. I hadn't heard of that. Curbside voting, huh? For those who could not make it inside. No issues with voting machines, and all people was nice and excited about voting. Your English teacher's not excited about your grammar, sir. Love the show. Keep up the great work. Oh, well, I'll take back the dig if you're going to be nice to me at the end. All right, I'm going to read some more of these. Lauren, Azel, Bruce, and Crowley, Derek, and Fort Worth. And if you want to give me your experience early voting, 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. We're just walking through history here in Decision 2024. I'm James Parker. You're listening to The James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey there, welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Look, I'm still, I've been here almost a year, but I'm still the new kid on the block. But we're getting to know each other pretty good. We've been through quite a bit. We've been through a presidential election cycle, almost the whole damn thing. We've been through a presidential assassination attempt. We've been through a presidential candidate dropping out. We've had all kinds of fun here, and now we're just sharing the experience of early voting for the lady Lisa over here on X/Twitter, whatever you want to call it. sent me in her report here of some voting shenanigans in Maricopa County, which, hey, I appreciate it. I want to take more of a focus on what's happening in North Texas because, that's kind of our job to keep an eye on this area. But I appreciate however you get me tips in, however you get reports in. I'm going to read a couple more here from the email, James at WBAP.com. Pretty easy to remember. It's my name at the station.com. You can't screw that up. Or please don't screw that up. If you do screw it up, I don't want to read it anyway. Laura and Azel writes in, hi, James Parker. Hi, Laura and Azel. I like when they use both names. Thank you for asking people about their voting experiences. The news is not reporting correctly. They have only mentioned the man who said his vote kept changing from Trump to Harris, and the news media is saying he did it wrong. They won't report anything else is wrong with the voting, claiming everything is correct and there are no problems. Well, I think a lot of people feel that way, Laura and Azel. Bruce in Crowley says, on Wednesday, my wife and I went to the voting location in Crowley, Tarrant County. Parking lot to parking lot, 50 minutes. Check-in table was set up with 3 computers for check-in, but only 2 staffed. The wait line was all in AC, which is kind of a big deal because I hate just sitting out there sweating like a horse. Not a horrible wait, but the longest I've ever waited at this location in 23 years. Ooh, well, that doesn't sound good. Derek in Fort Worth says, just an early voting report from Tarrant County. Oh, good. Another Tarrant County. You guys are a lot of listeners out there. Thank you. This was my first time early voting. I normally vote on election day. Voted at the Fort Worth SW sub courthouse on Granbury Road. There were about 50 people in line. Everyone was great. Poll workers were getting elderly and people with walkers or wheelchairs immediately inside to vote. Got into vote machines, checked selections before and after printing the ballot. No issues. Overall, in and out, about 20 minutes. Love the show. Keep it up. Well, thank you very much for your reports. Derek in Fort Worth, Bruce and Crowley, Laura and Azel, John and Canton. I have a few more email reports that I'm going to be getting to throughout the show, but let's check out live on the James Show hotline. This is Patricia in Dallas. You're a James Show reporter. What did you see early voting today, Patricia in Dallas?
Hi. What I saw was me voting and not being asked for my absentee ballot.
But why would you be asked for your absentee ballot? I don't understand.
Oh, well, I requested an absentee ballot, which I received in the mail, and I'm supposed to fill it out and mail it in. If I am going in to vote in person, there should be something on that screen that the clerk, the intake person sees that says I was mailed an absentee ballot. They're supposed to collect it before I'm allowed to vote in person. See, potentially now I have voted and I still have in my hand a mail-in ballot. They were supposed to have collected it.
Ooh, so that opens it up for you to possibly vote twice. Well, that's one of the things they're supposed to check if they ever do actually have to count the ballots, because I think most people understand, they don't always count the absentee ballots. If the margin of victory is greater than the number of absentee ballots, then what's the point anyway? But there's supposed to be some sort of mechanism by which they check those when they're being counted. But that's one of the devious things that happened in the 2020 election. If you're not double checking, if you don't have signature verification or postmark verification or make people show voter ID, you can't show it's a fraud anyway. So that's good. I'm glad you got that on the record, Patricia in Dallas. That's a good report. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
All right. That's kind of stuff we're looking for. Oh, yeah. You know what? She probably should get points. Garrett just recommended you for points, and I think that's a good 5 points. No, 6 points. That's like a touchdown without the extra points. 6 points. Did you have another case to make before I moved on?
I just want to point out, if anyone else sees this, it's possible that scanner that they use isn't programmed properly to pop up to the clerk that's intaking that says the person has an absentee ballot. It's supposed to pop up so that they are alerted. I wonder if there's a problem with the machine. That's all. That was what I walked away with.
Here's your problem. It's a government machine. It's still probably running on MS-DOS with a 56K modem. It's the same people that run the DMV. So some of this is kind of expected for any government program. But I'm glad we're keeping an eye on it. Thank you for your report, Patricia.
Thank you.
All right, we're sticking with another James Show reporter. This is going to be Carrie in Fort Worth. Yeah, we got the ladies out today. What's up, Carrie? What did you see early voting in Fort Worth?
Hi. I was at Lake Worth Boulevard at the sub courthouse, and I think that's actually, I don't know if it's the Fort Worth line or the Lake Worth line, but that's where I was just a little bit ago. And I noticed, I think it was a gentleman from Forney. Is he the one? He said something about when he was in line waiting that it was just really quiet. I noticed the same thing today. I didn't hear a lot of chatter, and it was quite a long line. It took a little bit to get through there. It was pretty busy there. And then once you get in there, it's pretty quick. But at the end, when you go to put your ballot in there to record it, I was trying to find out, because I thought I had heard something last week, about the discrepancies with that in White Settlement. If there's any way you can get like a confirmation that your vote actually counted, but when I was trying to ask...
Okay, there's a couple ways to do that. There's an answer for that. I'm just kind of running out of time here. Before the end of all the election counts being finalized, you should be able to go to the Secretary of State's website. Now, you won't be able to see which direction you voted, like who you voted for, but whether or not your vote was counted and is in the system, that you can check on. Now, there are some jurisdictions, some counties that lets you check it immediately, but I don't think every county has that set up. And look, Texas has some remote counties with only like 6,000 people in it. And when I joke about a Speak and Spell being hooked up to a 56K modem, that's probably not too far from the truth for a government office in a place that remote and unpopulated. But I think for around here, the people that are under the close umbrella of the WBAP listening area, I think most of the counties around here will let you check before that. You got to give it a few minutes maybe to get into the system. But I think some people have already checked. There's a rundown with a bunch of links on it for WFAA.com. I pulled this to the side just in case somebody like you had a question. It's called Here's How to Check If Your Ballot Was Counted in Texas. Should I just put that on the Facebook page, or you want to email me and I'll send you the link if you don't find it easily? Either way, I'll make sure if you have questions, I'll get you the links. Just send me an email, james@wbap.com, okay?
Sure.
All right. Well, Carrie, it's the least I can do for you being doing some free work for the James Show today. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for what you're doing. It's excellent.
Thank you. All right. See, we're just getting through this together. More James Show reporters are on hold. I have some more email reports, some Facebook message reports, and some good guests lined up for you. So keep it right here. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. This is The James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey there, all you beautiful Texans. Welcome back to The James Show. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. We'll continue with your reports on experiences early voting here in North Texas. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. Got a couple of quick reports here. One, Shelly in Burleson, you're next up on the James Show. What did you see early voting?
Hi there. I had a great experience in Burleson. Like other callers have said, everyone was kind of subdued, but I'm a voter who's blind, and I had the best experience voting as opposed to previous experiences in more urban counties. Johnson County staff knew exactly how to accommodate. They did it professionally and respectfully. They were enthusiastic, and so I just had to give them a public shout out.
So was it like Braille, or did someone read it to you, or is it talk to text?
So the way they do it right now is it is electronic, which I know everybody's not a big fan of, but that does allow us to do it independently because it reads the ballot out loud in headphones.
There you go.
And then I can press the selections that I want on a tactile keypad. And I kind of freaked them out at the election center because there's a button you can press to dim the screen so people can't read over your shoulder. And the gentleman that was assisting me to the machine, he was like, I looked over there and I saw your screen was blank and I got really worried until I just saw you were just pushing buttons. So I guess you're good. And I was like, well, I voted and it counted my vote, so I guess we are good.
Well, that's a cool story because most of us never even thinking about it from that angle. So very cool. Thank you, Shelly in Burleson.
Thanks for the chance to share. Have a great day.
That's nice. Bob and Aubrey.
Hey, James.
Yes.
We went, my wife and I went Monday in Aubrey at the Unified School District there, and we had no problem in and out, about 15, 20 minutes, and we had the little color-in boxes. We didn't have the electronic voting machine, and it went like a charm.
Okay. I guess you're in a smaller jurisdiction. How big's Aubrey?
Not very big. I would say probably 25,000, something like that, maybe.
Oh, okay. It's bigger than I
Aubrey
thought.
proper.
All right.
Yeah, and it's in Denton County.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. Thank you very much, Bob. I appreciate your report. Hey there. Welcome to the James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. I'd like to hear your reports, your thoughts. Early voting is now underway. We have gone through 3 days. We're in day 4 of early voting in Texas. I've been getting a lot of feedback from you, the James Show listener. And we're just kind of documenting history as it happens. In case anything shady shows up, we'll all find out together, and we'll have it all on the record. 800-288-9227. Before I get to some more phone reporters, I have a few more emails. We've got your emails. All right, here's a tough one. Clinton Keene. We went and voted on opening day. Ended up at Keene City Hall. Took about 30 minutes. Was only around 10 people ahead of us. No machines. After you filled out your ballot, you shoved into a slot on a big box. Nice people there and very helpful. See, we have a bunch of different things going on. And we're hearing this from people who are voting in the same election. We're all voting on the same stuff. But this guy fills out a paper ballot. There's no machine involved. And he just sticks it into a box with a bunch of other pieces of paper. Now, when we talk about, what opens things up to voting shenanigans, to cheating, to stuffing, to stealing the election, one of the concerns about early voting is you have all these people come out, fill out a piece of paper. There's no record that's recorded. It just gets stuck in a box. And so now what do we have to do? We have to trust that no shenanigans happen when it's time to actually count those. What happens to these in the meantime? What happens if there's a flood? What happens if there's a chain of custody issue? What happens if someone comes by and after they shut down the polling location at 9 o'clock tonight or 7 o'clock tonight or whenever it closes? How do we know someone doesn't take a bunch of blank ballots and just stuff them in there when no one's looking? I know. All kinds of issues. Some have their advantages, some have their disadvantages, but that's why we're keeping an eye on this. Steve in Weatherford, you're next up on the James Show. What have you seen as my early voting reporter, sir? Steve, you with me? Steve, Weatherford, go. Fine, I didn't want to talk to you either, Steve. Dee Dee in Plano, you're next up on the James Show. Let's. What did you see as an early voting reporter out there, Dee Dee?
Okay, so I was at the Haggard Library.
Merle Haggard made a library?
Merle Haggard, no.
Sorry.
But anyway, I was in the line. They had 2 lines, one for the handicapped people and one for regular ambulatory people. The ambulatory people had a long line all the way to Coit Road.
Oh, my goodness.
Door.
Look at someone using the SAT word. Does everybody, Garrett, do you know what ambulatory means?
Yeah.
What? Let's see what Garrett, do you?
No, poor baby. Well, anywho.
Okay, no, look, I'm sorry. Ambulatory, hang on. Garrett doesn't know, so there's other people out there. I know you know, Dee Dee. It just means, can you transport yourself from point A to point B by yourself? Like if you, if you can't, hence you would need an ambulance. See, that's where that comes from, Garrett.
Cool beans. And
okay.
And also you could get, to quote Elon Musk, get a thesaurus.
I don't know what that means.
Elon Musk?
No, a thesaurus? What's a thesaurus?
Thesaurus?
Oh, thesaurus. Sorry,
what did I say?
I don't know.
Never mind.
It was just muddy.
Anyway, never mind about that. Okay, so when I went to vote at the Haggard Library on Coit Road in Plano, Texas, in Collin County, the line was all the way from the front door to Coit Road. Then the line that I was in, there were 3 people, a grand total of 3. It took us an hour to vote. There were only 3 people in my line, and it took us an hour. They had 2 grown people carrying the information back and forth to inside, and the precinct judge is a knucklehead, actually, and with a capital N. I'm just kidding, with a capital K. So she's a knucklehead, and you can't do anything, and you can't circumvent her program because it doesn't take an hour to push buttons on a screen, and it doesn't take 2 grown people to carry the information back and forth. And they said, well, just call McKinney because that's where the voters, all the voters information is compiled, and there's another word, compiled.
I think we know what that one means. So you're a non-ambulatory voter, and it took you an hour. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay. Well, that
and
stinks.
It's no bueno, because I've voted there for 20 years. And so they're creating a bottleneck. And people who were much, much older than I, in their 80s, they were going to fall out because they were just taking their own sweet time about, and they created a bottleneck, and people were almost getting hit by moving vehicles, and people were double parking where people couldn't move their cars. I mean, it was just a bunch of nonsense. And so when I asked to speak to the precinct judge, she was too important and too busy to come out and speak to me. And so it just never happened.
Well, that's awful, because we're hearing different stories. Some of these places have like curbside voting where they come out and you don't even have to get out of your car if you're non-ambulatory, to use our secret word of the day. Garrett's writing that down right now. So they weren't so accommodating in Plano, huh?
Not at all. Not at all. And I'm only judging from past performance, because what I saw this week was a far cry from what they've delivered in the past. And so they could do a better job. I just get tired of, what did you say? Shenanigans?
Shenanigans. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't take an hour to vote.
All right. Well, we got it on the record. You have been heard, and it's all we can do for now. Thank you very much for sharing your situation, Dee Dee.
You're welcome.
All right, that's Dee Dee in Plano. Another report here from Mike Jones in Glen Rose. No, not that Mike Jones. 281-330-8004. No, probably not that one. He says, in and out, 6 minutes flat. I think that's the shortest report we've had thus far, but we can take you next. 800-288-9227. If you want to give me your early voting story, your report on what it was like to early vote here in North Texas. Coming up next, we're going to talk to a law enforcement expert about security at polling stations on the James Show. This News Talk 820 WBAP. I'm James Parker. We'll be right back with more James Show. Hey there, welcome to the James Show. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Welcome back to the big show. If you have any reports from your early voting experience, 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. You know, I had just played that clip with my last guest, but you and I haven't got to talk about this yet. Mika Brzezinski, that clip, I don't know if you were listening last segment. I'll play it again in case you weren't. The rhetoric around Trump is something that you were concerned about before he was ever shot at. And then after he was shot at, we all kind of figured, okay, can we turn down the rhetoric now? Well, you've watched. It hasn't been turned down at all. And here we are 12 days away from the election. He's still getting called a fascist and a Hitler, and they're mashing the gas.
As Trump's fascism is the lead story every day, his cozying up to dictators, his obsession with Hitler that has now come out, what he has said about our veterans, and what he wants to do with the military against his political adversaries. It's all huge news. This is the future that we're looking at in the next Trump term, if there is one.
Now, listen, her voice is getting kind of shaky. And I don't know if she really believes this or she's just trying to sell it. And also there's sort of that tendency for people who are sociopaths, or at least have sociopathic tendencies, that if they tell themselves a lie enough times that they'll actually start to believe it. Like, sociopaths can sometimes pass a lie detector test because they actually believe the lie that they're telling. So I don't know if this is like a genuine just effusion of emotion that we're seeing from Mika Brzezinski, or if this is some last-ditch theatrical effort to scare some people into voting.
But this is what voters know right now, that he is killing us. I'm talking about us women. He's killing us.
All right. That's not an exaggeration. That's not a metaphor. She means that. So you and I understand that violence in itself isn't always bad. Violence can be good. It's usually the initiation of the use of force that is bad, sort of the non-aggression principle. So if I just walk out and I shoot a random guy on the sidewalk, I'm probably in the wrong. But if a guy is shooting at me the guy is or shooting the guy next to me and I pull out a gun and I stop him, some guy's on a shooting spree, that is a good instance of violence. A moral person would not initiate the use of force, but a moral person would use force to stop someone else from being violent. So what does it do to people who are considering violence against Trump if you tell them that he's already killing people? It gives them a moral justification to commit acts of violence. Period, point blank, end of story. It's wrong to initiate the use of violence, but it is quite moral. Damn it, it's heroic to use violence against someone who's killing people. So that's what she's setting the stage for. Now, whether she's intentionally doing it or she's so damn reckless with her language and her platform that she's doing it accidentally or just doesn't care, I don't know. I don't know what's inside her head. You don't either. But it hasn't stopped. And no one's calling it out. I mean, I'll call it out, but no one listens to me and WBAP. We're like, there needs to be some lefties calling this out. Hey, CNN, they're your opposition when it comes to getting viewers. Y'all don't want to call them out? No one's taking it too far? No, just slander half the country as much as we want, even if it incites violence, as long as it's good for the cause, as long as it's not even honest. All right, Mika. So the fascism talk still goes on. The other interesting thing we're seeing now is there's another part of the lefty talkosphere, the talking heads, that are using the term word salad to describe Kamala Harris. Here's Van Jones on CNN.
Does she seem like somebody who is going to take seriously the problems of ordinary people and try to get an answer? And I think she passed that test. I think that the word salad stuff gets on my nerves. I think that some of the evasions...
See, he used it, and then David Axelrod actually used the word salad term too. And these are guys, they were... Van Jones was in the Obama administration.
Concern me is when she doesn't want to answer a question, her habit is to kind of go to word salad city.
Dude, so both of them, after her town hall on CNN, used the term word salad. CNN's describing her as word salad. This is sinking in. And people who don't normally hear the dismissive terms like that are now hearing it. That is not good for Kamala. 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. We'll talk to author, comedian, and satirist Evan Sayet next on The James Show. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. All right, now sports fans, James Parker here for the Prize Picks app. And now that we have basketball going, we have hockey going, we have football going, you're swirled up and all that. Some of you are even watching baseball. I don't know why. But you can add a little bit of spice, add a little bit of salt and pepper to the sports that you're already watching by weaving in some of the Prize Picks action. Download the app with your first $5 play. If you use promo code WBAP, I'll give you $50 to play with. And it's super simple. It's not like a regular fantasy sports league where you and your buddies have to draft and you're just stuck with whatever players you get. You get to choose your players. You get to make your own custom lineup, and you get to choose more or less on their statistics, and that's it. It's just you against the players. So download the Prize Picks app. See how fun it is. It's legal in Texas. I know it sounds like it might be too fun to be legal, but it's legal here. I'm doing it. I'm winning some money off of it, actually. But download the Prize Picks app. Use promo code WBAP with your first $5 play. You can have a little bit more fun, $50 more fun, having some guessing games here with your favorite sports heroes. Prize Picks. Run your game.